Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where the film Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull asks, oh, Jesus.
Not the whole fucking thing again.
Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where the film Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull asks us if we'd like to... God,
Start the whole fucking thing again.
Okay, I'm going to start the whole thing again. Here we go. Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where the film Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull asks us if we'd like to report a UFO, and we say, negative, we don't want to report. 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
You know, I appreciate that intro because I've complained a lot about this movie, but I really like this minute a lot.
We'll get there,
Muppet.
Pete.
Yeah.
You're not crazy, yeah.
I'm the intern, Gerald Christopher Marcus Porter.
And hey, I'm Matt Drum from
Hey.
The Crusade and Planet Earth and North
Yeah.
Carolina at the moment. Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, everybody.
wonderful.
You are a wonderful and dedicated member of the Listeners Crusade on Facebook.
Oh, I
and,
found my people. Yeah.
You did. It's good to have you among us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. We're going to
Yeah.
plow through.
What a great last name. How does that,
Drum.
how does that fit into your
God,
life?
I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
I know. I should have
Matt,
taken it.
Matt,
My
sure.
uncle Kent Drum plays the drums, and I play a little guitar. My son is also a drummer. He plays piano and cello very well.
Oh, wow.
I got to get a real drummer in the family. I don't know.
Yeah, what,
Or
does that,
do you? That might
does
be a
that
little
affect
much.
how you relate to people when they meet you and they go, Matt Drum? And they're like,
Oh,
drumming?
yeah.
You know, do they make
They never.
jokes? And,
It's too simple to pronounce. They think it's Jerome or something else with a G.
Drum.
Yeah. And I always do a little drum motion.
Oh,
And I'm like,
nice.
oh, this guy's weird. Yeah.
well, welcome.
Wow.
Thank
Well,
you.
now we know what to call you.
Yeah.
And we are going to deal with minute 112 of Crystal Skull together as a group. This minute begins with the gang getting shot out of the temple on a column of water, and it ends with an honest-to-God flying saucer.
Matt Drum,
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you.
Hit me.
Am I nuts or is this unbelievably stupid?
This
The beginning of this minute.
the 2000 flushes bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
The tiny bowl man, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
I love you guys so much. I almost took a 2 liter of an empty 2 liter of Coke or whatever, and was going to do like a MythBusters in my sink, see if this would work. Some action figures.
Is it
Yeah,
okay? Is it me for being? Is it me? Like, is being incredulous as to how this would work physically? Is that my fault? Am I not understanding the physics
Yeah.
behind this, or
Yeah.
because this? Pete, I don't know. You might. You love this minute. Do you have something to
Yeah.
add?
I love this minute after the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Although-
Back to Matt Drum. Am I
After the
stupid?
dismount.
Oh, wait, if
Yeah.
I could just throw in
It's a
an
bit
alternate
dippy, yes.
perspective. But okay, why? It makes sense to me. Is that crazy? That it makes sense to me that if you
The chamber
pumped a
floods.
huge amount of water,
Yeah.
this chamber floods, this closed thing, the only way to go is up. People float.
No, it's like they're like
Yeah.
toilet stoppers.
They're
Like
salty.
you said, like
right?
yeah.
Does
Yeah.
it salt? Wait, is it salt
They
water
are
you
salty.
float in, or are people salty?
Yeah, well, we talked about this. It's just
Water
Dead
gets
Sea.
salty
It's
from
the
the
Dead
people.
Sea water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
look, I know that humans float, but humans also drown.
Sure.
Yeah.
Humans
Yeah.
also get like pressed
Would
against
it-
walls with really heavy water pressure.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
interesting part, is that they didn't get pulverized at the end of the last minute.
Yeah.
So okay,
I
let's.
just looked at my fish. I was going to ask him.
Oh yeah.
if
What did
if
they
we
say?
actually
He
imagine,
gets stuck in all sorts of weird things in the aquarium. I don't know.
Sure.
let's just imagine we're in this stone rotunda, okay, and there's an aperture, right? There's one that's up and there's one that's in front of us, and this enormous, torrent or almost like a like a tidal wave of water is
A
coming.
rushing torrential tidal wave of gentle water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
a
it's
lazy
coming,
river worth of torrential.
and we're going. You
flood.
would think about this. You go water, 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 and then what happens in Temple of Doom? He runs. Why? Because water like that is damaging, and it's going
Yeah.
to kill you. That's why he runs at the end of Temple of Doom. We have another cave. We have another, the water. So I'm wondering if you're sitting there, and they all hold hands like it's synchronized swimming.
Right.
And the thing, like the water would probably throw you against the wall, as Pete suggested. And then I understand that, your lungs make you buoyant, but there's something that would be so violent about this.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying they don't have any air breath left in them? Is that your problem? You worried about that?
I don't know if it would just propel them, like rocket them out the aperture.
The rocketing
Yeah.
part, the jettisoning. I can't talk today. It's all right. I'm tackling words like jettisoning. So what am I gonna? I can. expect
Can I
it to
ask
be
you a
awful.
question, Tom?
Yeah.
You're doing all right.
Thank you.
Is there a reason you did the welcome back thing?
No, I did it as like an
You
off the
messed
cuff
up like
thing.
3 times, and
I
you
know.
did it
and
every time. So I
did.
didn't know if there was a...
I didn't intend to do it 3 times. I did it like as an
okay.
off the cuff thing, but then I kind of stuck with it every 3 or 4
It
times.
become
I had to redo the
increasingly
whole
on
damn
the
thing.
cuff as you did it.
I know. Yeah, it's like, well, I guess this is. I'm committing to this now. All right. Never again.
I just didn't know if I was missing a theme.
It should also be noted that I wrote that introduction myself, and I didn't know how to say it.
Speaking of themes, does it sound like we get a little nautical version of the Raiders March as they're pushed up?
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice
Yeah.
that.
It's like
Maybe.
a grand
Yeah.
little
If
launch
anything, it
of
should
a
just
ship
be-
of something.
It
Right?
should just be gurgling.
Yeah. Tom, you said lazy river, right?
Yeah.
And for me, the whole thing is like a lazy river. It reminds me of well, it's not as calm. Like when in Temple of Doom, when they're on the yellow raft, and they kind of settle down into the river, and Willie like lays back, puts her
Right.
feet up or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And the whole thing, the whole thing, just building up to this, and what we see in a few seconds here is just like a nice little. It's a lazy river scene.
It
Would
does
it have
sort
been
of
too
seem
much
it is
if
like
they had had a yellow raft like drift past them as they're in there with Willie on it?
That would have been
Yeah.
nice, like a little Giants cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they look at it like what was the Last Crusade in the tunnel with the biplane going by, just looking right out.
Right.
Another favorite part of yours.
Exactly.
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
Maybe is there something we're missing? Well, okay. Let me ask you this, Matt Drum.
Yeah.
Is
By the way,
Is
Matt
the-
Drum, you have a great voice.
Thank you.
Like we don't get a lot of people
You do, yeah.
that just
we-
have natural great voices. You're the
Yeah.
Tom Taylor in that respect.
it would be
Thanks.
it would be like a deeper concert snare if you were a drum. It'd be like a 16, like an 8x16. Something
thanks.
nice and guttural and with a lot of low end.
Thanks.
Okay, so is this
Now he's self-conscious. Look what you did.
Oh boy.
Say some more words, Matt.
No. In a
Is-
minute.
Is this how the aliens in the Ooga had planned an escape? Like, is this the functioning exit?
Yeah, we're kind of touching on that last time a little bit.
Yeah.
Like in the sense that it seems like the aliens, A, didn't care what happened to anybody or anything when they left, but B,
Yeah.
left this little loophole that if you run fast enough down this thing and don't get eaten by the gears and stuff and hold your breath and everything, then you'll survive and
But-
you're welcome.
Where's the water coming from?
And is the water on purpose?
Well, we see later that there's water all around, and it kind of collapses in.
Yeah.
And Oxley says what the broom to their footprints, and maybe the next person's minute says that.
So is there like a,
everything collapses. So I don't know where it's coming from, because inside there's the ship that opened up, and everybody got sucked up into the portal, right?
Yeah.
So that's underwater, supposedly. Although we never really see that previously.
Okay, I have a huge question.
The geography
about
of all this.
Yeah, the geography of all this. I don't know.
weird.
You're right, because on top of the ship, on top of the UFO is the temple.
Right,
We'll
it's below the temple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
wait.
Maybe
a
the
minute.
UFO just released all of its like sewage and stuff, like it's like all the flushes from the toilets and everything.
Like, didn't the
And
Dave
that's where the
Matthews
water's coming
Band? They
from.
did that in the Chicago
They
River.
pulled a Dave Matthews in the Chicago River. Yeah,
Yeah.
bastards.
Well, wait, Tommy, and somebody mentioned the pyramid about that. So, Matt Drum, I have a question. Is that the pyramid next door?
Or the main one they
Okay,
went
so
up.
at the end of this minute, we see a pyramid, and it starts to get destroyed. And you said there's water, and we get this vortex tornado thing that's called like an alien NATO. And what pyramid is that? Is that the temple, or is that another temple?
Yeah,
that they were
geographically, you would
storing-
think it's the main, but once they get down inside, and what was the red, like that red wall they put the skull on top of and go into these chambers. There's a lot. It seems like a big distance for them
It seems like a huge
to get to this
it does.
cliff wall
But on the other hand, you can see
where
on the
Mac
top of
was
that-
and the jewels and all this stuff.
Yeah, but on
Well,
the
there
top of
wasn't-
that temple is the same thing from the one that they went into.
Yeah,
Right. So I'm thinking it's two temples, two different temples.
Could be a different one, yeah.
Did that one
Well, we
get
don't
like
with-
destroyed?
We don't
or
see what they're standing on now. I don't know if it's like technically a temple or if it's just like an ornate
Yeah, like a
mountain
rock
or something.
outcropping. Yeah.
But whatever
Part
it
of
is,
it's
it
part of a temple, because I
Okay.
did watch like the rest of the scene, which I love. We can talk about later, because it deals with some Henry Jones music.
Oh, sure.
They're kind of on a little staircase, which
That's
is
true,
like part
yeah.
of the temple.
yeah. But we kept saying like when they got into the temple, the way they got in, there's no way to get back out that way. Like the stairs go away and everything. There's sand all over the place. So when they're running to get out of the place, they are probably not running that way. They're,
I feel like they're
I don't know if they
running
ran
maybe-
that far, but I mean,
It's
I
like
don't know.
100 yards, give or take. Or, okay, maybe like 500, 300 yards, 200 yards. But I
That
don't
far
feel
was
a
like...
long ways away.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they get on top this precipice at the end of the minute and they look down, they're nowhere near that.
It's like half a mile.
The saucer garage.
But if they were, on the other hand, the alien doesn't seem to have like walked a long way in the other direction, which the alien would have had to have done if the spaceship were under that other temple and this were the main temple.
The one alien who merged together, and you
Yeah.
think he
Yeah.
Yeah.
you think he got on his bicycle and went to the cockpit?
Yeah, it's one of those jet sleds.
Yeah.
Sleds.
Or a
Or
Segway?
maybe let's not forget that these guys are interdimensional, and so maybe they did something weird to space and time within this
Nose
temple.
twinkle.
Yeah, every step
All right,
is
so
worth 3.5 steps.
Tommy, you bring that up,
Okay.
and this chafes. So we
Ooh,
just have
where?
well, that's what we're going to
Down
discuss.
there.
Gonna find out the hard way.
Yes. So Spalko gets interdimensionalized. She's like, "Boo!" You're right. So she's gone in a thing. What's his name? Mac flies away like Slave One.
Yeah.
Like, and then he kind of goes, "Boo!" psh,
Yeah.
And he gets interdimensionalized. Those Russian
all right, though.
soldiers do.
Sure.
So we have all these people. They kind of go down that hole or whatever it is, and I don't know. We don't know where they go. And then we
Yeah.
have the aliens who are going to interdimensionalize right here. Why do we have the physicality of the spaceship?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's
I'm
one of
thinking,
those
yeah,
things that
interdimensionalized.
I think that's like a visual representation of George Lucas saying, "Hey, let's do aliens," and Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg saying, "No, let's not."
Yeah.
Maybe if they're interdimensional
Yeah.
beings, then okay, I'll do it. But we have to get George Lucas is saying we have to get a UFO in there, which I appreciate. I appreciate seeing a
Yeah.
UFO in an Indiana Jones movie, but you're right. It's sort of like having your cake and eating it
Connecting
too.
the dots. Yeah, it doesn't quite.
Yeah.
Although most
Makes
film
sense.
goers, I think, if they had just seen people kind of pop out of existence, they would have just assumed they were all dead.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Which a lot of people assume anyway. So I don't know if that.
And Steven Spielberg has built a career on ending movies with big UFOs going places and leaving dramatically. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're going places.
That's right, yeah.
They're
This is
going
to the
places.
space
They're
between
not-
spaces.
Yes, they're not like Close Encounters. Like he goes off to another place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
E.T. does too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna stand. I love that line. I love the space between spaces thing. You guys
I do too.
seem
I
to
don't
hate it, but
I don't not like it.
just whenever you say it, Tom, you say the space between spaces.
I do. You know what it is? It's not the line. The line is perfectly good. I make fun of it because it does this. It's like one of those times where you hear like two people with two hands on the screenplay going like aliens. Nah, not quite aliens. We gotta not say it's aliens. You know, it's like a little quick band-aid of a line.
Yeah.
That makes it not aliens.
I just think it's a great way to describe.
It is. It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted him to be Doctor Who more. He only got to do it for like 2 episodes.
Oh, John Hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have here. If you can't see on the
We can see.
podcast
Really
app,
important.
Wow.
I got the Rinsler book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah.
And he, speaking of the spaceship, George insisted spaceship, and Harrison and Steven were like, maybe. And I read a lot of this stuff, a lot of the revisions. So that this scene where the ship takes off, originally, I think in the Frank Darabont version, which was called something, what was it? Saucermen from Mars, maybe that one?
Maybe. Yeah.
The ship was just going to appear and destroy the temple and part of the jungle in a mushroom-like cloud would appear from
Wow.
which would tie it to to the beginning bit.
Oh, that's
But
interesting.
they changed that, of course.
Yeah.
I kind of like this version where it's like it seems like Indy and Oxley are the only two really looking. I mean, they could have maybe milked that more, where Marion and Mutt are covering their heads because there's boulders smashing above them, right?
Yeah.
And Marion has
it
learned
seems
not to
like
look at interesting stuff.
yeah. She's like, I've been here before.
I
And it looks like Indy and Oxley are the ones who really see it, and then they want to make it seem like, are you really seeing the UFO, or maybe not? But obviously, they know what they see.
Yeah. And so do we. We saw a
it's
UFO.
It's a really nice scene. Like I love like the sound is cool, like the poof, poof, like of the temple blowing up. Like
Yeah.
low,
The sound is
like
great.
The rumble and the
And the
it's
music
great.
gets
And the-
super weird for a little bit.
I
It
love
just
that.
gets like
yeah.
super like almost 2001 or
Very
like the
ethereal,
opening of
yeah.
Close Encounters or something.
Yeah.
It sounds
that's
like
super
the,
satisfying.
it's the beginning of Russia's Cygnus X1.
Yeah, there's a weird
Oh, yeah.
time
Yeah.
signature. If I knew more about my last name and drums and rhythm, I would probably know. But it is similar. Like this is mid 2000s John Williams, and there's two. I'll put these tracks on the Crusade. A couple other movies that have very similar kind of like a slow build into this kind of like real rhythmic crescendo. There's a thing in AI. You might remember like when they go to it was New York when it's covered in water.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
sure.
they're kind of in this. It's Jude Law driving the spaceship and they're going up. And there's
Yeah.
like waterfalls. It's a real similar kind of sounding track. And then there's another one in Warhorse when two German boys desert.
Huh.
I'll put them up. They all sound
nice.
similar to me, and I love all three. It's got
Awesome.
it's this piece on the Crystal Skull soundtrack is called, what is it? The Departure. And
Okay,
it's-
cool.
Happens to be my favorite piece of music on there.
And I wish it had lasted longer. It's like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
haven't
Over.
gotten anything like this in the whole movie. And I'm glad that we get it when we do, and for as long as we do. But I wish, like then it kind of goes into a much more traditional kind of trumpety kind of,
Yeah.
John Williams-y kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
that
also for
is
that
fine, but
for that brief moment, it feels like the old Spielberg alien magic.
yeah, you're like, oh, what's
bit.
going on? Like there's something. You know what it kind of reminds me of weirdly? It reminds me, especially also with the visual that's going on. Like, oh, something's happening to the ground, but I can't quite tell what it is yet and stuff at first. In his War of the Worlds, the only part of that movie I remember is when the aliens are first kind of showing up and they're coming up out of the ground and like the ground is sort of like twisting and shifting, and you really can't tell what's going on at first, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's like very
It's like an
disorienting,
earthquake.
and
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, there's something strange and unearthly going on here. This is cool. This is satisfying.
Well, Pete, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Was this ship, like, is the ship there and the aliens built the temple over the ship, or did the Ooga built the temple over the ship? Like, is it one of those Church of the Holy Sepulchre things?
I have I literally have no idea.
Yeah.
Did the ship land and bore into the ground, and then the aliens were like, there's something magic here, and then they erected the temple over that?
Maybe?
Maybe the temple was the natural debris of the ship crashing, and that gave birth to that style of architecture. Just the complete random debris.
No, well,
Probably
okay.
not that.
All right, here's another knuckleball. Matt Drum.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this this whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
What is the story of the Ooga here? Like, so their whole ancient civilization lasted like 5,000 or 6,000 years, just right up until today, when the Russians killed them all, and then the aliens left them.
Right.
You nailed
So
it.
yeah.
Is that what happens? I mean, is that the
You're
story
done.
of the Ooga?
Yeah, and they left a couple of guys to hang out in the walls. You know, that's their job.
It was
Yeah.
their shift. Yeah.
Probably some good benefits.
We hope.
That's the trajectory of their entire. We're celebrating ancient civilizations.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a thing here though, is the design of this temple. Whenever you see that temple design, it's Mesoamerican, and there was generally a sacrifice performed at the top of it.
Oh.
And I'm curious if there was who would have been sacrificed on this.
Well, usually it was virgins. Duh.
Yeah. Come on. We all know that.
Oh, it wasn't always. It was
No,
often,
no,
like,
it wasn't.
could have been,
Who's the guy?
other
Chakmul.
warriors.
Chakmul, right?
Chakmul is actually that's what they call the altar. And the craziest thing I learned from our buddy Edwin Barnhart, who's been on the show a couple times,
Yeah.
is that name I believe was made up in the 20th century by somebody, and it's not. It doesn't actually mean anything.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
It just
Not a
sounded
real thing.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Trying to find a picture of this exterior temple.
Well,
It's in the
it
book.
looks
Yeah.
a little bit like
It's just a close up.
the Temple of the Dawn in Bangkok, like the Buddhist temple. Looks a little bit like that.
Here it is. The term Chakmul is derived from the name Chakmul, which Augustus Le Plongeon in 1875 gave to a sculpture that he and his wife Alice Dixon excavated within the Temple of the Eagles and the Jaguars at Chichen Itza.
Yeah, that's kind of. I remember seeing that, and that was.
It's just
that was
crazy.
all
Like
part of
some modern European, like 100 years ago, said, "Oh, we're going to call this," but every time you hear it, you think, "Oh, that's an ancient Mayan word or something."
Right.
But
Meanwhile, the ancient minds are like, "Who the hell's Chakmul?"
yeah,
What
it's
are
just
you
a made-up thing. Yeah.
What are you saying?
Hopefully it doesn't mean something awful in their actual language.
Yeah, as far as I did a little research but nothing as far as the Akator people's kind of role in all of this. They more touched upon the aliens' little encounters throughout history, like, and I don't know if it's in the novelization. It mentioned, like Indiana Jones. I don't know if it's video games. It said, they touched upon him being at Area 51 earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
And then there's something here. It says Jones was hired by the U.S. government for an expedition in 1939 to Odin's Land, an iceberg near Greenland, which held a trapped Viking longship. And Odin's Land was also of interest to the Nazis, but the iceberg also contained a UFO which escaped the ice and destroyed the Nazi submarine before departing the planet. I don't remember that part of Crystal Skull. That would have been really
Nor
good.
do I. Sounds cool.
Yeah, like two landed in Russia, and I guess that's where Spalko had a connection with it in her government's past. It was before her time.
Huh.
Everything you just said sounded a lot like being on the verge of a Indiana Jones Marvel crossover.
right?
You got your Odin stuff, you got your Thor stuff, you got
Yeah.
your people frozen in the ice. Like
Oh,
from
they
Captain
probably
America.
did that retroactively. I bet you.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah, it's like the beginning of Thor.
wait. Well, Matt Drum, let me ask you something. You are a
Hit me.
huge. Oh, this isn't a question. This is a statement. You're a huge Indiana Jones fan. You're wearing an awesome Raiders of the Lost Ark shirt right now.
Yeah.
You are talking to us. You bring all sorts of stuff to the Crusade that's really interesting and deep dives and everything. What do you feel about this movie, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
You guys brought it out of me, really.
You don't feel pressure to answer one way or the other. Just
Well, no,
honest.
it's a lot. Like this one, I like. I know it's my fourth favorite. I'm
Sure.
I'm kind of a Raiders, Crusade, Doom, Skull guy.
Okay.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Common order.
Yeah.
They all. This one I have a connection with my daughter. She was. She was 3 years old maybe when we went to see them. Really.
Oh wow. All right.
Yeah, no, 5. She was 5. And I had this thing where I would go see a movie that was maybe PG-13 by myself, or with
When you were 3?
by myself. And then we would take the kids and we would cover their eyes on certain parts, like
Sure.
some of the early Marvel movies and things like that. So it was maybe a little too rough for them. So I took her, I remember, and she fell in love with the series as well, and has this weird tradition of wanting to watch Temple of Doom on her birthday, which is
Wow.
I think she
Cool.
identified with Shorty, like we all did.
Sure.
And she's 18 now, getting ready to graduate, and she still loves it. She's the one
Awesome.
supplying me with all these T-shirts.
That's great.
And my son as well is a huge movie nerd. So I kind of, as Tommy, having a boy, he's 16 too, right? Or how old is he?
He's 15. Yeah.
15.
He's got-
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fun kind of showing a lot of the stuff that we grew up with as
Yeah.
80s, 70s, 80s kids to our people in our family. So, and it's kind of seeing it through their eyes. So, like my son really found Indiana Jones through the Lego game. I'm sure a lot of things. He loved that. And
That's a
he
conduit
watches
for a
them.
lot of stuff, those Lego games.
Yeah, he watches a lot of them on his own, and I've certainly brainwashed them with movies and music over the years. So it's a bit of that, and I like it. I know it's a bit this Crystal Skull. I know it's a bit dippy in parts, and we can sit there and really think of all the versions we hear about, like in just reading the Rinsler book, you find out about certain characters that kind of flip-flopped and merged and then split, and then you could sit here and do like a math equation of like, well, if they took maybe just combined Mac and Oxley and all this stuff, it would be more interesting. But I try not to. Was it Sunday? Was it Monday morning quarterback? Is that what they call it? I'm not a sports guy.
Yeah, this movie's a
right.
lot like when say you're on a lake and somebody's got a motorboat. For me, it's usually a friend or something. You get invited on a motorboat on a lake, and you're gonna, unfortunately, hopefully the motor's turned off, and that you can jump off the stern of the ship, and you can jump. You're gonna hit the water, and it's gonna be nice and cool and everything. But you also know, because it's a motorboat, that basically, and the guy was just going. That like there's all sorts of gasoline and oil in the water, and you're gonna land smack dab in that,
Right?
But you do it anyway. You do it anyway because it's summer, and you're like, what? It's hot out, and I already went through the trouble of putting my bathing suit on, and I'm gonna leap off the end of the ship and jump into the gasoline swirl, and that is part lake, part motor oil, and
So
you
wait,
don't think about it.
So the lake is Crystal Skull, but then the oil is doing it minute by minute and doing a whole podcast about it and dragging it out for like 3 years?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Yeah, getting sunburned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost not surviving. Yeah.
Yeah, getting that like 4:30 headache.
Oh yeah.
Time to
Yeah,
lay
but
down.
you tell yourself you're having fun. You don't think about it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think for the first hour, I think I even looked at it like it's when they get into the duck. Around that point, I think it's a great Indiana Jones movie, and then it's kind of an okay one after that, and it kind of like you poor guys are you're not floundering like some people might say. You're still doing the Lord's work.
Thank
over
you.
here.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. The greater the
And I
struggle,
understand the
the greatest our
excitement was
heroism, heroics.
right, exactly. I understand that the idea was to pace it out for in 5, right? To kind of get
That
it and
worked.
take a break.
Thanks a lot, Lucasfilm.
But they're taking their time.
They are. They're doing it right. That's the important thing.
Yeah, but I mean, there's
can
great
wait.
moments in there. There's, I love everything in the warehouse and the was it Doomtown and I love Nuke the Fridge personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about this recently. Do you think that why was the fridge able to escape? Like, not the bicycle didn't, and the mailman didn't, and like the ice cream truck, but the fridge very specifically had a full
Lead lines.
Yeah, full. Well, not so much that, but it had like a full throated, full throttled ejection from the town.
Yeah,
Just the fridge.
I mean, the flying through the air.
Yeah.
I don't. That's silly. But like being in a fridge, I think.
You're just in the motorboat water.
Hand me
I think if
another,
the star of the movie is in the fridge, it's probably going to survive. And it's
Yeah.
going to
Natty
fly where it
Ice.
needs to go to safety.
Right.
They-
Hand me another White Claw, whatever you have on the lake. It sounds good. I don't drink White Claw.
All those things are a little gross, aren't they? They always leave like, this is refreshing. It's not refreshing. There's like a gum
Seltzer.
in the back of my throat now or
Well,
something.
Yeah.
okay, Matt Drum, do you like Clamato?
I've had it once. The person, the drink.
The superhero. Yeah. Clamato.
Yeah.
never
Proportionate
really
strength
had
of a
it.
Clamato.
You had it once, but that doesn't sound like you liked it.
What is
What about
Clamato? Isn't it?
It's
Literally clam juice, right?
it's like
Isn't it?
clam juice with motor oil in it.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a
Crystal Skull is
tomato.
Clamato.
No, it's like
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly talk about the blood of Kali. I can't imagine anything that you would spit out faster into some guy's face if
Yeah.
they handed you a Clamato.
Yeah.
Unless it was a Mountain Dew, as we saw Homer Simpson do.
Don't they have
Clam
beer with
juice.
Clamato in it?
Yeah. You can get it at
It's-
7-Eleven right
God.
by me.
Wow. That's awful.
Yeah.
Better
Yeah.
than the water. I'm drinking water right now, and it's delicious.
Oh yeah.
We're really pinning you down on this, Matt Drum. I'm sorry. You've been in
No,
the
about
fight.
why do I like it?
Just why do
is
you
it okay?
what just everything.
I don't know why you're
Oh,
dodging
no.
the Clamato question. Just be
Yeah.
straight with us.
I have a whole case in my fridge.
I have another question. After
Hit me.
Matt Drum here.
All right.
I like that you use both names. It reminds me of Wyatt
you're-
Earp.
You know, it's a great,
Kevin-
it's a
Kevin
great
Costner.
name.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so is this? I was thinking about this late at night. It was past midnight, and this came to me. Is this Indiana Jones universe big enough for Yahweh, Kali, and aliens? And if yes,
And Alf.
and Alf, and if yes, then what is the relationship between all of them? Because like if Kali exists, which they allude to in Temple of Doom, it's like that's real. Then does that infringe upon Yahweh and his existence? Because he's famously jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then do you does that, if you accept that those two gods exist, then where do we put the aliens? Are they just part of the cosmos, but they're not? Are they just like us? They're just more advanced? Do they talk to Yahweh? Do they talk to Kali? Or what about the Ooga? Is there their own god? Like, is the universe, we have all sorts of deities and now aliens too. Interdimensional whatevers.
Doesn't Indy say that they are archaeologists, or he calls them that?
Yeah.
In the little treasure room?
Yeah, he
Yeah, in
says,
the treasure
I mean, that's just him being cheeky.
Interdimensional Clamatos. Whatever.
The
Right.
clams between Clamatos.
It would be great if there was more of a kind of a. I think this movie might be missing that religious through line that we like in the other ones, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes it a little more special, in my opinion. I mean,
That's part of that push and pull, isn't it? They do try
I love
to
an
put that
alien.
on it. They try to put
Yeah.
that old Indiana Jones, folklore, religion, mythology sheen on the aliens, and it doesn't totally take.
Yeah, it's like from what I know is they're hedging a lot of bets with many of the ideas in the movie. Like it's not, they kind of didn't fully lean into the alien bit, and they didn't fully lean into the father-son stuff.
Pete,
Clamato.
What do you think, Pete? How do you think, is the universe big enough for all these? I guess supernatural, and also non. I guess I don't know.
Interdimensional.
Yeah, interdimensional. Can they all exist in the Indiana Jones universe?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, especially since these guys are from a separate dimension altogether. But
yeah,
I think it's okay.
It works. We seem to survive on this planet with all these gods bumping into each other.
I did find out a fun fact. This is purely for Tom.
Oh.
So the set, this huge set for the underneath the temple, I think it's everything they did, was on Universal Studios, where Spielberg shot one of his early things, Columbo. And he mentions it. He's like, in this big room, we did a Columbo.
Oh, that's awesome!
In the Rensler book, yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Because he's usually shooting elsewhere and on location, other places up to this point.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was watching a thing with Paul Tompkins the other day, and he mentioned he would love to play Columbo.
Oh, wow.
And he would be a pretty decent Columbo.
He would be.
I can see that. Yeah.
Didn't you guys say Michael Pena would be a good Columbo on the
I think somebody
Trek
did
show?
say
Somebody
that.
put that on there.
And there's that Ryan Johnson's doing that Natasha Lyonne cop, detective show that people are thinking, is this like a backdoor Columbo reboot?
Lady Columbo, yeah.
Yeah. That could work.
We'll try it.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Well, all right. I said, hey, listen. So that usually means that I start to wrap it up, and then Jerry interrupts me and reminds me that there might be something coming in over the wire.
Oh, wait. I'm going to do like... Wait. There's something coming in over the wire. Jesus. Your weird introduction voice that you did.
No, do it again. Do it again, Jerry. Take two. Take two.
Yeah, okay. Wait, there's something coming in over the wire. This just in from Professor Christie Porter.
Golly.
Notice how everything in this scene is going widdershins, which is counterclockwise. Now here's one for you. Yeah, widdershins. I want everyone to take their index finger and point it to the sky and put it out in front of their chest tight. Now move your index finger, point it at the sky counterclockwise. Wait, I'm doing it. Hang on. Counterclockwise.
What?
Oh, no. That's widdershins. That's widdershins. Slowly raise your arm above your head, still moving your index finger counterclockwise. What happens when your index finger gets above your head? Now slowly move it down again, still moving in the same direction to chest height. What happened?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
I'm so scared.
I don't know. She's talking about widdershins.
Weird. That is funny. I was just listening to a Stuff You Should Know about the direction in which people naturally walk. And in the States and most other places, stores and everything are designed to guide you to the right because you naturally want to go to the right. That feels comfortable and natural. They do theorize that maybe it is because of the flow of traffic in these countries, but that you want to go to the right and travel in a counterclockwise direction through a store in most places.
Huh. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that to answer Professor Christie's Porter question, yes.
If you had a store and you named it Widdershins.
Yeah. There'd be that one guy who would be like, "Oh, you know why they call it Widdershins? Because
you got to go back to the beginning and see if that water was counterclockwise too.
Oh my gosh!
Toilet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was that Clamato juice in there?
They are south of the equator.
It's got a lot of salt. It would explain their
Mac
buoyant-
flavored water.
Yeah, their
Yeah,
buoyancy.
if this is happening in the States, would the everything be flowing
It should,
clockwise?
Yeah,
The other way, yeah.
Flow, yeah.
I
I
don't
don't know what do they
know.
call that shitter winds.
Do I have to bleep that? Is that a word?
No,
Okay.
no.
All
That's
right.
just geography.
Yeah, you can't bleep.
Can I put you guys
geography,
on the
Gary.
spot? Can I put you guys on the spot?
Can you
Please
say
do,
both
yeah.
our names really aggressively? Our names.
We're getting near the end of the skull.
We are. Thank you for
Pete
saying
has
that.
lost all hope.
Yes.
Pete used to
Yeah.
be such an optimistic guy. He just needs
hard
like
to watch.
Molaram to reach in there and touch his heart.
Yeah, touch it and shake it and toss it away and catch it on fire. Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone is annoying you with what you should do next.
Yeah.
If you do next, in between, you'll probably have a little gap between number 5.
Sure. We're good at gaps.
Are you discussing plans of doing? Well, I guess you would have to see what the gap is and what would fill in. Perhaps.
Well,
We have ideas.
yeah, we've kicked
Yeah.
a few things around.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
definitely, there'll be some Indiana Jonesy things that pop up here and there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, but then there's also other stuff that we're talking about too.
And
Yeah.
we thought, maybe not tether our wagon to a movie per se.
Right.
Yeah, maybe do something. I mean, is there something you think we should we open a store called Wittershins?
Oh
What should we do? Do you
no,
have
me
any
personally,
suggestions?
my personal vote is kind of continue. You started with a great line of doing a lot of Spielbergs. That's a big task, though.
Sure.
That's true.
You don't want to be the Spielberg by minute guys. But I'm sure you could cherry pick some of the good ones. Like Tintin would be. It was his next film after this one.
Yeah.
It's so funny if you look at his filmography. He's kind of on a great roll. Like after Private Ryan, and he had like Catch Me If You Can, and Eunuch was right before this one. It's really weird that this.
Yeah.
It's a weird,
Yeah.
weird sandwich.
I
Yeah.
wonder his head wasn't quite in it.
And he does that a lot. Like he'll have some great ones, and then he'll have a 1941 or a Hook, and then he'll have a Schindler's List right after that. So
Yeah,
we believe in him still.
we do. He's got his chops.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
Tintin is definitely. I think you're maybe the only one who's seen it.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, I've said many times it feels
the
like an
most Indiana
unofficial
Jonesy.
Indiana Jones movie. Yeah.
Yeah, like he would like this is the stuff I wanted to do, perhaps, or I could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recommend
Anyway.
it. But yeah, I'd talk about that with these guys.
You don't want to
It'd be
do Return of the Jedi after Empire Strikes Back. No, you don't.
fun. Yub. All we have to say is yub.
No, whatever you do is fine. We'll all listen and cheer.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
It's exactly what we need to hear. Don't make any demands on us. We can't handle it.
No, I do want to plug for you guys. Get on that Patreon if anybody hasn't. When I found out you guys were doing I saw there was an Indiana Jones podcast. I'm like, great. And then I think when I started listening, you had just started Crystal Skull, so I kind of went backwards and caught up. And then I got on the Patreon, and then you did Jaws and Close Encounters, and even things like Superman. I did think you did a few Treks in there, maybe.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, one anyway.
All the great
we did
classic,
4, yeah.
all the great classic, 80s.
Yeah.
And those episodes, like I've listened to many other podcasts who kind of cover the same movies, and you guys had, for me, that like perfect mix. Like you guys, somebody did a lot of research, somebody was there with the one-liners, and I think Jerry coined the sleepover chat vibe that you guys
Right, yeah.
struck on, and it's so perfect, and it's the why I listen to so many podcasts, because you just kind of get that great vibe of friends hanging out, and you should be going to bed on a weekend before school,
Right.
but getting giggly late
Yeah.
at night, had too
We have
much
to.
sugar.
We can't go to sleep because we have to tackle the questions of the day
All right,
that weigh on our souls.
but yeah, get on that Patreon, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Matt. That's beautiful. Patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. That's what he's trying to say.
Right?
Yeah, we cover all sorts of other stuff over there, and some of us write you postcards, and you get early access to shows, and it's good fun. It's a good place, and it's a good thing, and it helps keep the lights on over here, even when the lights go out. But Matt, thank you so much for joining us. This has been really awesome.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's good to put a face with the posts.
You got it.
Yeah. But yeah, if you want to hang out with us and with Matt over at the Indiana Jones Minute and the Listeners Crusade group over on Facebook, you should do that. It is a lively and fun joint full of not only Indiana Jones chat, but kind of all things Lucasfilm and summertime and 80s and 70s and 90s and Mountain Dew and all the rest of it. It's a good, fun place, and you should check it out, and we look forward to meeting you there. And in the meantime, you should come back, not in the meantime, I mean in a few days from now, you should come back on Monday for minute 113 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, right here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Cyclones? Oh, come on, it's been a while.
That was all right. That was a good one.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
But I can't. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Coming at
Welcome
you.
back.
There's the
back.
wacky IJM boys with more Crystal Skull coming at you.
I don't want to try and yell Clamato. That would be my neighbors might hear me and call somebody.
I'll do a Clamato.
The space between spaces.